Today I received a massive package filled with several ant nests I ordered. Let's dive right in and see what's inside. This is the first ant nest. It features an activity zone on top and a nesting chamber below. I really like this type of design, so I got a few of them to try out. There are also some test tubes inside, but I won't be opening them for now. The seller was kind enough to include 2 water dispensers. The transparent one is usable, while the white one isn't, but it can still work as a feeding dish. Now, on to the second underground ant nest. The seller's choice of flooring isn't the best, so I'll modify it a bit to make it look nicer before housing my black exotic ants. The third underground nest has a similar issue with its plaster, but inside, there's already a small colony of black exotics with around 30 workers. They seem healthy, and I don't see any dead ants. However, this nest might be a bit too spacious for a colony of this size, so I'll transfer them to a more suitable nest and keep this one for my other black exotic ants. The package includes 3 syringes for adding water. I also received a Nylanderia ant colony with 5 queens and dozens of workers in a 25mm test tube nest. I'll transfer them soon and reuse the tube for my black exotics. Time to tidy up. I started dismantling an underground nest and found all the accessories. The seller used hot glue and rusted screws, making it hard to take apart. I still have 2 more to go. Just thinking about it is exhausting. The package also included 5 extra test tubes, which can be used as water dispensers, along with 4 leather bands. By rolling up a band and inserting a water-filled test tube, you can create a simple and effective water feeder. It's a handy method. These 2 items here are also water dispensers. The one on the left is a common design, but the one on the right seems defective. It won't work as a water feeder, but it could serve as a feeding dish for sugar water and food. I'm replacing the module for this Nicobar colony with a 15mm dual test tube setup. Both tubes are second-hand, so I don't want to make a new one. Since the colony is small, opening just 1 test tube should be enough. The ants have already moved in. I'm not a big fan of this Nicobar's yellowish-brown color. I prefer red or black ants. This shade just doesn't look great to me, but I wonder if others might like it. There are still a few ants left in the foraging area, so I'll clear them out as well. Now, I'm switching the module for the black gold colony. This is also a 15mm dual test tube setup, but with a slightly smaller foraging area, making it a good fit for them. I'll use a 15mm pure black test tube, which was a gift from my friend, and it's finally coming in handy. There are still quite a few ants on this tissue, so I'll place it in a small sorting box first. I'll move the queen to the foraging area first, then handle the workers more casually. Just shaking them in should be fine. I'll take care of the remaining ants myself. Filming is a bit troublesome, so I won't record it this time and will just post a short clip instead. The ants quickly settled into their new nest. This 30mm black gold colony has just the right number of test tubes. Not too many, not too few, so it should last for a while. A black test tube is a great choice for housing black gold ants, as it makes them look even brighter and more golden. I still have a dual port test tube, which was a gift from Hugay. I've decided to connect it as well. Although only 1 tube is in use and the dual port feature isn't necessary, leaving an empty port just feels incomplete, so I'm attaching it anyway. This setup includes a 25mm black test tube with a 20mm one on top. These are the last 2 black test tubes I had sitting idle, and I don't want them to go unused any longer. Today, I'm finally putting them to use. Yesterday, I lined this slot with plaster. It's a 20mm stone test tube slot. Since I don't have a large black gold colony, opening just 1 test tube should be enough. The 25mm test tube slot is also ready to go, so everything is set up and good to use. Yesterday, I also prepared the flooring for these 3 ant nests. The foraging area doesn't look great, but as long as it maintains proper humidity, I think it's fine. It may not be aesthetically pleasing, but it's not too bad either. For housing black gold ants, it should work well. There's a moisture-retaining layer in the back, which allows me to add water using a syringe to keep the humidity stable. I randomly selected 3 small black gold colonies to move in. The first colony has the most ants, the second has slightly fewer, and the third has even fewer than that. I decided to set aside the 2 smaller colonies for now and focus on the one with the largest population. For this colony, I'm giving them a 25mm single-chamber test tube nest. It should provide them with enough space and stability for their current size. Everything is set up, and the ants should settle in well. For a medium-sized worker colony, I've set up a 20mm test tube module as their new home. This should provide enough space for them to expand while keeping the environment stable. Next, we have the underground chamber setup, designed for the smallest colony. Since their numbers are quite low, this space should be more than sufficient. I've also placed a water feeder here to maintain high humidity levels, which is crucial for their survival and growth. Some of the ants will remain here along with future nest expansions, while others have already begun moving into the main nest. This particular red gold variant colony still has its nest in the foraging area, as only a few ants have moved into the test tube so far. It will take some time for the rest to follow, but that's expected. Meanwhile, in the underground chamber, most of the ants have already settled in, with only a few still lingering in the foraging area. Given time, they'll fully transition into their new home. Since the other 2 nests have a similar design, I won't be showcasing another black gold colony this time. However, I've now gone through and displayed test tubes of all available sizes: 15mm, 18mm, 20mm, 25mm, and 30mm. This should give you a good idea of how different sizes work for different colonies. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.